And why we have to do this? Because smart society need knowledge automation, not just the physical, not just the industrial automations. And our world is uncertain. We face the diversity, and it's complicated. But we have to have the ability to make it become agility. Focus on your problem and converge to your goal. So my slogan is using information, using automation and intelligence from UDC to AFC. And actually this is also the slogan, kind of the slogan of US military, because about 20 years ago, the US Defense had this special workshop program on command and control. It's declared the future command and control is no longer command and control. Then what? It said is focus and convergence. And I'm at agility. Have to be agile. Why? There's a scientific reason for that. When the complex level of complexity is low, when we face the first world, the physical world, at World War I, right? We have Newton's law. It's a big law of small data. How many parameters you have in Newton's three laws, right? Less than 10. But it's control everything, mechanical work. When you have a human factor, when systems become bigger, right? The reality and your mind, model in your mind, your cognitive ability gap is so big. And it's become Murder's law. It's become big data, small law. How you do that? You have to bridge the big gap. So the first step is to use big data to fill them up. Why? We have to look at the nature, the essential nature of big data. There's so many interpretations about the big data. 3-way, 5-way. I even saw some articles that 8 ways. But to me, it's only 2 sentences, 3 tasks. What I like most is, well, speak with the data, right? And then the best way to predict the future is to create it. And before we have the artificial intelligence, before we have a big data, right? It's just accent. It's only useful at a language level. It's just for this meeting, we talk about it, we go home, forget it. But with the technology, it has to become a real task. And this is why we go so-called ACP. And we have to go from a descriptive computing to predictive computing. And then, most importantly, to prescriptive computing. So intelligence should do the same thing, from descriptive intelligence to predictive intelligence and then prescriptive intelligence. But what is the technology? How you do description? Artificial society, artificial organization, artificial system, artificial UN, software-defined UN, and use that, make a computer to become a social lab, become a UN lab, become an organization lab, and then you generate the big data by computational experiment. Small data become big data. And then use AI, use machine learning to reduce them to small knowledge, small rule, precision knowledge, to solve your problem, to focus, to converge. And from Newton to murder. This is exactly what AlphaGo did. AlphaGo only use 800,000 of human gain. That's big, right? And then through its self-play, it produced 30 million games, and then 70 million games. An average person, even a stupid guy playing that much game should be good, right? Because 70 million games is more than the total game human played since the invention of Go game. If you are not that stupid, you should be good. And then use machine learning, it reduced that 70 million game to two map, to two network. One is called a policy network, one is called a value network. And this becomes small knowledge, small rule. So it's when the human master. It's a typical process from small data to big data, and then back to small knowledge. And we should make this become routine, become a standard technology, become knowledge automation. And the technology to me is called ACP. Artificial computational parallel. And we use big data to fill the gap. Then we use the parallel technology to bridge to the end-to-end knowledge automation. So now you fill the gap, you have all kind of bridge. So you overcome this cognitive gap. You overcome this model divide. And then you can have a smart society. And you can go from a UDC to AFC. And when no problem, you will what? You will play all the game to face to optimize, to thinking, to plan for the real problem. When thing happens, you already have small knowledge. So our job in the future is play game, enjoy life, play game, to turn small data to big data, and then big data to small rule, small knowledge, precision knowledge for all kind of emergency, all kind of problem, from Newton to modern. Why? Again, this is an example. We all know complex numbers. We all know imaginary numbers, right? 400 years ago, we don't know and think you can take the square root of -1. If you do that, you're stupid. You have a problem with your mind. That's why we call it imaginary number. It's some number by some mental retarded. Actually, this number has been invented 1,000 years ago by Arabians. Then this guy said, oh, oops, I made a mistake. So he corrected his mistake. And then we don't have this number for another 600 years. But once you take this imaginary number as a real number, right? You double the population of the number right away. And this equation, x squared plus 1, has a solution. Once it has a solution, we have what? We have quantum mechanics. Without this number, you cannot write the Schrödinger function. You cannot have the black hole radiation equation. And we have Einstein's relativity theory. Without this number, you can't write down the equation for Einstein's equation. And our computer program can go on, otherwise it stops. See, the innovation in concept virtually bring you something in the physical world. An unsolved problem becomes solvable. This is the importance of the World 3. So we have to continue along this line. And I have this some slide more than 10 years ago. When I went back to China, I tried to convince people this is the important issue. We should do social computing, we should do the power intelligence, we should do the knowledge automation. At that time, people laugh at me. But now I think many of the young generation spend more time on the virtual world. But I'm still convinced they are 50-50. And if you don't consider virtual as real, right, you can't solve this or complex, complicated problem. You will never have intelligent systems. Just like you never have a solution for x squared plus 1 equal to 0. And just like we go from Newton's classical physics to Einstein's to quantum mechanics, we have to think a particle. What? A particle is also a wave. A wave is a particle, right? It's called what? It's called particle-wave duality, right? And we have accept real virtual duality. In the future, everything will be in parallel. You will be in parallel. The software defines you. The parallel you have to work with you together. Otherwise, you are intelligent, retarded. Just like when I was a kid, my parents asked me to take the immunization, right? Said that if you don't do that, you will be physically retarded because you have something in your face or your leg is crooked. But in the future, if you don't have a software defined you, when you were born, your family had to buy all kind of software robot to grow up with you, to live with you, to learn with you, to work with you, to do all the memories. When you listen to me here, and the parallel you, the virtual you will do all kind of job for you on that virtual world. You will not be yourself. You will have your digital family, not just digital twins, digital family, your own digital family, your own digital organization, your digital company, your digital society, your digital empire. You will be the key, you will be the empire of your digital use. Without that, you are intelligent challengers. You will not solve your intelligent disparity with others. And each world has its own mission. This World 3 is to overcome the human intelligent disparity. So future will be in parallel. And its infrastructure, the smart infrastructure, will be CPSX. That is all kind of X 5.0 system. Traditional thinking of AI is what? Start from virtual reality, and then augmented reality, then artificial intelligence. To me, you need to double it, parallel it. You have to add virtual sensing, software-defined sensing work for you. You have to have augmented sensing, and then artificial cognition. This is how we small data to big data to small knowledge, from Newton to Murray, and UDC to AFCs. So you will be in parallel, you and your software-defined you, many of them have to live together, work together, and enjoy the life, office life together. Product will be in parallel, process will be in parallel, the company will be in parallel. What is it? In Chinese, we have different words for it. We have 平行 and 并行. In English, it's all the same, but they are fundamentally different. The parallel in the classical meaning is divide and conquer. But the parallel in the new meaning is what? Augmented and then solve. We don't conquer anything. This is why we want to go from net zero summer to zero sum and then to positive sum. We want something from nothing, but in a different world. And this is how you go. The key word is knowledge automation. We have gone so far from industrial automation. Now we have to go to knowledge automations. So, and this is how we get that process from UDC to FC. Actually, this is from US military. They have this for command and control, but I modified that. So traditional society organization is centralized. We have to decentralize that. Supported by blockchain, as Dr. Xu mentioned earlier. And the information should be open source. And you should allow the autonomous interaction between the different sections of the society. So in the first world, World War, we have resource disparity. In the mental world, World II, we have information disparity. We almost overcome this too. Now we have to overcome intelligence disparity. We have to move from original point to the edge. And that is how we can build our smart societies. And each society has its own infrastructure. And this is for the ancient time, agricultural time, industrial time, right? And if you go to the so-called modern society, and if they don't have a highway, they don't have airport, they don't have harbor, you said, oh, you are not a modern society. But in the future, if you go to some society, they don't have this CPSS, they don't have all the X5.0 for knowledge automation. They claim they are smart society. You said, that is a joke. We have to build them. And this is why I said in the future, the power, the inference is not the physical you, it's the software-defined you. The military, the government, individual, all based on that. So your future is the software-defined you, it's the parallel you. And this is why we started about 20 years ago, so we do that from the transportation, grade 1.0. We worked there for almost 20 years, and we built our own system. We have tried 3 cities in China, from Suzhou to Guangzhou and now Qingdao. And this is all academic research. So you have software-defined transportation system, artificial transportation system. You change the real transportation system to the artificial one. There, no congestion.